Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that there's so many folks in the room today. I know this is probably the hottest ticket in the city, in Toronto. So I'm glad that there's so many folks here. I want to talk to you about the Canadian dream. And I believe very strongly this is the dream that we want for ourselves, for our kids, and our neighbors. And it's to live a good life, to have a home that we can afford, where we feel safe, a good job with good wages and good benefits. We want lives that don't leave us exhausted and worried, with enough time and energy to play with our kids. Many Canadians face a future right now where no matter how hard they work, it doesn't matter how hard they're struggling, life just won't get any easier. That's the sad reality right now. Economists talk in terms of slow growth, that Canada is falling far behind other countries in measures like productivity. These are real problems. And for Canadians, on top of that, economic uncertainty adds to a list of crises that we're faced with right now. A housing crisis, that means it's impossible to find a home that you can afford. Rents are continuing to rise. A climate crisis that is destroying people's lives. A crisis in healthcare where we simply do not have enough people doing the hard work of taking care of each other. A generation of young people who are not only facing higher unemployment, worsening mental health, but also a future where they will be less prosperous than their parents. Solving these crises is urgent, and it is the work of government. First of all, let's talk about what won't work to solve these crises. The old formula of cutting taxes for large corporations and the super rich in the hopes that they will instead invest these profits into growth and productivity simply will not work. It has been proven not going to work. And for evidence, many corporations, many large corporations have seen their average profits double in the years since the pandemic. And despite that, the fact that they're making more money than ever, investment by these corporations is simply not growing. Corporate profits instead are finding their way into shareholders' pockets, into CEO bonuses, and into bonuses instead of higher wages, better technology, or more skills training. You cannot build a growing economy by giving those that have the most an even bigger share. You grow an economy by investing in those who do the work, not those who make the profits. I want to share with you a personal story just to set the stage for what we're up against as a country. When I was 20, I was going to university, and my family was going through some struggles. My father was sick with an addiction and meant that home wasn't a safe place. So my kid brother, I think he's in the crowd today, had to come live with me. So 15-year-old, teenage, anyone have to raise a teenager before or have teenagers in their lives? So I had a teenager and I'm a 20-year-old, and those kids are hungry. Teenagers are hungry. So I'm cooking food for him. Once I cooked a meal and he ate it, and then he looked at me and said, "What's for dinner?" And I was like, well, that kind of was dinner, actually, I thought. So I had to call up mom and say, "Hey, listen, I need another recipe to feed your growing boy here. He's always hungry." But we were making it by. And then I got a call from my mom. Things had taken a turn for the worse. My dad was so sick that he couldn't work anymore, and so she couldn't send any money to support. And any eldest siblings in the room? Show of hands. So you know what it's like if your parents are ever worried. You got to make sure that their worries are allayed, that they're not going to be stressed out. So I said, "Mom, don't worry, I got this. You take care of Dad. I'll take care of Grutton. We'll be okay." I got off the phone and then I panicked. Said, what am I going to do here? So I went out and got a bunch of jobs. As a 20-year-old in university, you can imagine a lot of minimum wage jobs. I found my way into the retail sector, so I was stocking shoes at Aldo's. I couldn't make the cut to be on the store floor, so I was in the back stocking shoes and shelves in a really tight space. I was selling jeans at another store and selling clothing at a third. So working 3 different minimum wage jobs, I was struggling to get by. I'm like, I got all these jobs. I'm working many hours, as many hours as I need. I still was struggling to take care of me and my brother. And I can tell you, we made it through that tough time, but not on our own. We had help from friends, from family, and also some strangers. My brother was going to high school, and so some of the parents figured out that, two younger boys living together probably were going to be hungry, and they would send food back. And one of those moms sent like tubs of pierogies, and our entire freezer was filled with pierogies, to the point that if my brother asked me what was for dinner, I look at him and say, "Brother, we're eating pierogies." I got real creative with those pierogies, found different ways to cook them up, but we got through that time. But I can tell you, I worked hard and I made it through with some help and with some generosity. We made it through that difficult time. But I can tell you with all honesty, if we had to go through that struggle today, with the cost of living as high as it is right now, with the cost of groceries, the cost of rent, what they are right now, we couldn't have done it. We simply would not have been able to make it. And that's the thing. That's what Canadians are feeling like right now. They're working harder than ever before. They're doing everything right. And they watch as everything they need, a place to live, food to eat, gets more and more expensive and out of reach. All the while, they're working harder than ever before just so the people who own the grocery stores or collect the rent can make more money than ever before. And people feel, and are right to feel this, that their governments have failed them. They've failed to do the biggest job that our government has to do, to fight for people, not the powerful, not the bosses, but everyday people. So we have to make life more affordable for Canadians right now. And even though wages are growing, thanks to unions, many of whom are in the room today, we know that with inflation, though, and higher interest rates, it still means that Canadians are falling behind despite that. So today, I want to make a commitment to Canadians. New Democrats are going to give you a break on your daily essentials and monthly bills. We are going to take the GST off of everyday costs, like heating, your home, your cell phone bills, your internet, food that you buy at the groceries, and your children's needs. We will... And here's the punchline, though. And we're going to pay for it by bringing in an excess profit tax to make sure those ultra-wealthy and large corporations pay their fair share, and we can use that money to bring down costs for families. We're going to make the CEOs pay for it. So, as we are confronted now with the reality of President Donald Trump presidency and his agenda of economic bullying, let's now commit that our goal in every single trade negotiation is to protect Canadian jobs and to create good jobs in our country. We can make sure that every job is a good job that pays the bills. And to do it, we need strong unions. Let's be very clear, it can only happen with strong unions. The middle class was built by unions. Unions who fight for good wages, pensions, and benefits. Right here, Royal York workers are living on 2021 wages in 2024. We need unions fighting for good wages for these workers and all workers across our country. Canadian workers have the skills and put in the effort to be the best in the world. They need a government that gets up every day to fight for them. That's what I will do as Prime Minister. We will make more of the things that we need right here in our own country. We will find markets all over the world for our exports. We will defend ourselves against punitive tariffs that hurt workers in industries like steel and aluminum. And we will resist demands to weaken supply management which keeps our farmers working. Making every job a good job benefits all of us. 1 of every 5 jobs in our economy involves taking care of someone, taking care of kids, taking care of our parents, taking care of our elders, our neighbors. When people don't have access to good health care, when they're worried about the care of their elders, when they don't have reliable childcare, it is harder to be a part of a productive labor force. And we also know that the conditions of work are directly related to the conditions of care. So, better pay and better work conditions will result in better care for everyone. When I talk to small business owners, they often tell me that not having adequate housing for workers is the major barrier they face when it comes to growth. We are short millions of homes for Canadians. And one of the major reasons is because governments have stopped building and investing in homes. The private sector won't be able to build all the housing we need. We absolutely need new homes for families to buy. But we also need housing that is built not for profit, to make sure that everyone has a safe and affordable place to call home. Doubling our community housing stock will increase productivity by up to 9.3% and boost Canada's GDP by $67 billion. And while we must build new homes, without a doubt, we also have to keep the homes that are affordable from being sold off. A practice that we're seeing far too often across this country that results in longtime tenants getting kicked out and rent going up for everyone. Policies like the one being introduced by our incredible Mayor Chow to protect tenants from rent evictions are essential. In fact, a new Democrat government would make it a condition, a requirement of federal funding to cities for housing and infrastructure to ensure that these policies to ban rent evictions are in place. We will also ban investment companies from buying more rental stock. In the last few years alone, these large corporate landowners have scooped up 20% of rental housing in Canada. And what makes matters worse, they're engaged in predatory pricing practices to drive up rent, including using AI to effectively collude to jack up prices. Building homes that Canadians need is going to take all of us, government, not-for-profit, and private sector. Mr. Poilievre's plan to cut funding for the infrastructure and housing that cities like Toronto need will only mean that the housing crisis will be longer and deeper. And ultimately, the economy of our cities, large and small, will suffer. And when we build these homes, when we invest in the right way to build these homes, we cannot let them be washed away by floods or burned down by forest fires year after year. The impacts of the climate crisis are here. We need to take action now because they cost all of us. By 2025, climate impacts will be slowing Canada's economic growth by $25 billion annually. That's half of the projected growth in GDP. Every dollar we spend protecting communities from extreme weather saves us money. Fighting climate change with homes that are heated and cooled by electricity, public transit that gets us to work efficiently, safely, and comfortably, and renewable energy projects that produce the power that we need for our economy, these are the investments that fuel economic growth. And they produce things that money can't buy, like the air that we breathe. This is how we can have a growing economy that benefits everyone, not by cutting taxes for the wealthiest, but by investing now in solving the crises that are costing Canadians, by giving you a break on your monthly bills, taking the GST off of your daily essentials, from kids' diapers to cell phone bills, from home heating to food at the grocery store. Building an economy where we take better care of one another, where every job is a good job, where everyone can afford a home, and where we are protecting Canadians from the threats of the climate crisis. We're living in dangerous and uncertain times. But I believe that working together Canada can succeed. We can find the solutions for our problems. And the result will be the good life that we want for ourselves and for everyone around us. Thank you. Thank you.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel.